Good morning. Welcome to another Kickstart This. This one is a really special one because this is somebody I've known for a while here in Sacramento, a local for Sacramento. And he has been working on a book, and I've been talking with him about it for a very long time. It is now here on Kickstarter. The book is completely done. The project is funded. You have nothing to lose by doing this. Welcome, Tim Watts, who is here promoting the Republic.
Hey, Ben, thanks a lot for having me on. It's great to be here.
Yes, good morning, sir. First off, congratulations are in order because the book was funded almost immediately when
In
you
2 days, yeah, it was pretty amazing.
It was because I remember seeing the Monday post, and I was like, "Oh, it's up! It's finally up." Tim's got his book. Did my share, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll go check it out in a little bit." Then Tuesday morning, I wake up, and it was like, thank you everybody for funding the book. It was like, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we're going to find out about what got you into this, how this book came about, and where you're going to go with it. But what's your elevator pitch for the Republic so that everybody knows what they're getting into?
The quickest way that I boiled it down is post-apocalyptic Game of Thrones, but with hopefully a more satisfying ending.
You're like, please, hopefully it's a more satisfying ending.
I think that it is.
Well, good. Now, you've been a comic creator for actually quite a long time.
Yeah, I've primarily as an artist, I've drawn my whole life, and I did a web comic years ago, with a friend, and we did a print version of that, ages ago, probably 20 years ago. And it's something that I've always loved and I've dabbled with. And this is the first time that I dove in with both feet as writer and on this book, the inker, and did it, the majority of the work myself, and also something as large as this. It's a 118-page book. So it was quite an undertaking, and yeah, about the last 3 to 4 years of my life.
And speaking, going back just a second, you were talking about the web comics and your print version.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were on the early edge of this too. Like when I was opening the shop and we were just starting to support and promote local small press, you guys were one of the first ones that were there, like in the Sacramento scene.
Yeah, the web comic started in I think it was 96.
Yeah, that's
96,
crazy.
97. And then the print version, I think, was 99 or something like that. When we did one issue and went down to San Diego for Comic-Con and got the small press booth and did all that. And, that was a lot of fun. Didn't make any money off of it, but it was fun.
That's kind of the way the small press booth goes. But again, you love it, you enjoy it. This is your passion. And now here we are with the Republic, which is obviously a huge undertaking for you because you said you did the writing, you did the inking, but you had to get a team for the colorist, for the art, for the design. And what's interesting here, everybody, that you should know about this Kickstarter is most Kickstarters, you go, they give you a little preview of what they want to do, and they say, hey, support this, and we'll start working on it. Tim did it the exact opposite way. He finished the product before he even brought us the Kickstarter. So, I mean, tell us about your reasoning there and about how that was for you.
Well, my thinking was, as you said, a lot of the comic Kickstarters out there, they'll do some concept art and maybe the first 4 or 5 pages or something like that, and give kind of a proof of concept for people to back. And then once the campaign's over, they go make the book. And sometimes people wait, 6, 9, 12 months to get their book, sometimes longer. And if you're a creator who has a track record, I know there's some industry professionals that done work with Marvel and DC and things like that, and they will kickstart a book, and people have a certain amount of comfort with the idea of backing something that doesn't exist yet because this person has a track record of producing content. This is my first Kickstarter. It's my first graphic novel, and I wouldn't blame somebody if they said, well, I don't know if this guy's going to follow through and make the things, especially something as large as a 118-page graphic novel. So my thought was, if I got it done and, you know, I got some sample copies printed up and I can show, just like in the pitch video, you know, I hold up a printed physical copy of the book and I show everybody that it's done. And my thinking is that that's one less reason for them to not back the book. You know, if they see, oh, okay, it's done. I tell people once the campaign's over, all I have to do is tell the printer how many books to print. And then once I get them, I can start shipping them out. So I want to make it as easy and alleviate any concerns anybody might have about fulfillment and me following through by showing them the book's already done.
And that's great too, because the people who have done it, you've actually already fully paid them. Yeah, they're not waiting on it at anything. You've done this like in the complete opposite Kickstarter mode.
And that's something that is important to me because, you know, there's no guarantee that the Kickstarter will be successful. You know, I'm completely blown away and grateful to all the support that we've gotten to make it successful. But also, you know, my opinion is other people shouldn't work for free for me to realize my dream. And also, they shouldn't have to wait 3 years or 4 years to get paid and draw over 100 pages, you know, of a book and wait to get money for it. That doesn't seem fair to me. And as someone who's been a creator, you know, almost all my life, I just thought that it would be better for them to be taken care of and get what they deserve and what they've earned. And then it's up to me to kind of try to square things on the back end, you know, financially with myself.
Yes. And you even mentioned in the Kickstarter video, which of course, anyone who is watching this and sees it should be following these links to check it out, because again, it's already successful, which means you're guaranteed your product. And all you're doing now is helping Tim to reach stretch goals, which is actually good for you. So why don't we go ahead and show them the trailer? Because you actually had one put together with the images from the book.
Right. And my thought process before we show it, my thinking on the trailer was there have been other Kickstarter campaigns I've seen that have done something they call a trailer. And essentially it was a collage of images from the book, which is fine. It shows the book, it shows what it is, but they didn't necessarily tell a story. When I hear trailer, I think of sitting in a movie theater and seeing a trailer for a movie that tells a story and draws you in and makes you think, ooh, I want to find out what that's all about. So that's what I did, is we still took, you know, images from the book, but in a specific order, in a specific way to tell a story. And also we went and got, you know, a music bed, we got sound effects, we had people record lines of dialogue, and a friend of mine who has been an editor for many years helped me out and put it together. And I think that it feels more like a movie theater trailer that tells you what the story is about.
Very nice. Well, let's take a peek at it and see what he has.
What are you looking at?
An old man, past his prime.
It's appropriate that we rebuild here.
I'm not your general anymore.
Sir, raiders are attacking merchant ships.
General, the southern tribes are on the move. All of them.
How much of our land do you want?
As much as we need.
You see, this is who they really are.
We're going to have to fight. There's no stopping that now.
Enough! Let's finish this!
All right. Well, everybody, we're a little choppy here. That's our fault. That's Empire's Comics' fault, not Tim. So go to his website to watch a really clean version of the video. But it's impressive nonetheless, sir. The music, the voices. Who'd you get to do the voices with you?
Those are friends of mine. So yeah, I drafted friends, you know, that I thought would be a good fit for various lines, and they were all very enthusiastic and supportive. And yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, and it was neat too because I got to see as it was progressing. So it was really fun to hear you come into the shop and be like, "Hey, I've got this idea. I'm going to do a comic. I'm going to start again." Or and then you're okay, you talk a little bit about it, and then you're like, "Boom, I got an artist. Boom, I got pages." It was really fun to see it all actually come together until there was actually a book in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, I really do congratulate you. This is not like an easy undertaking, but one of the things that's really neat is my congratulations don't really matter because there's one individual who supported this project and sent you a video that was amazingly important. Why don't we see who I'm talking about?
Sure.
Before I explain how my love of all things post-apocalyptic applies to the Republic, I have somebody that would like to say a few words first.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. I met Tim Watts at the Sacramento stop of the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow tour, man. And he showed me his amazing post-apocalyptic comic called The Republic. Please help donate to his Kickstarter to get the comic printed and distributed, man. Throw a few bucks in a creative's bucket, man. But give to Tim Watts so he can make The Republic a reality that you could hold in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Watts!
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
I love how he said throw a few bucks in your bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun because the way that came about was a couple years ago, Kevin came through town with his last Jay and Silent Bob movie that he was touring, and he was down at the Crest. And I went down there, and part of if you bought a particular ticket, part of the arrangement was a meet and greet with him.
Yeah.
So I took down the portion of the book that was done so far. And my whole intent was just to tell him, thanks for the motivation, because he's always very big on, if you want to make something, make something. If I can do it, you can do it, and that's very much something that he believes in. So I just wanted to say, hey, you know what, you encourage people to make something. I made something, here it is. And I showed it to him and he looked at it and thought it was cool. And then he just looked at me and said, how can I help? And it's one of those moments where you just go, I'm sorry, what did you say? So we went back and forth a little bit, and we agreed, that he would record a little video encouraging people to support the Kickstarter. And I'm very grateful that he was willing to do that.
That is really, really neat. I mean, the guy seems like such an amazing personality, but no, that is wonderful. So let's talk at the Kickstarter then, since people have now had a chance to see a little bit more about it. What are we talking on the Kickstarter? We've got soft covers, hard covers. You've got posters, you got prints.
Yep. So I wanted to keep it pretty streamlined. There's a number of rewards and different benefits, but I didn't want to go too crazy because, again, first Kickstarter, I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew. So obviously, we have digital downloads, and I want to mention that because anybody internationally, I'm really not shipping international physical items because one, it's very expensive, and it can be erratic shipping in the best of circumstances, but right now with the horrible things going on in Europe, it's even more disrupted, and with 2 years of a pandemic. So international backers, I would encourage to check out the digital download. They get the whole book, and they get digital versions of the other rewards as well. So that is something that they can do. We have the soft cover, which you've seen. Also, the printer that I'm working with has a hardcover option. So if you want to have something a little fancier and a little more high end to put on your shelf, you can get a hardcover version of the book.
Sweet.
One of the rewards that I really like is the art print reward, because originally I was going to do this as a 4-issue limited series. And when I was thinking of doing that, my penciler did wraparound covers for all 4 issues. But because my thought was, I'm going to try to publish it and go through the regular distribution and get it into comic shops. And then the world exploded and we had a pandemic for 2 years, and it kind of threw everything out of whack. So when I kind of refocused what I was going to do with the project and looked into Kickstarter, I thought, okay, people are having some success with Kickstarter. I'll do that. But I thought I'll just repackage it as a graphic novel with 4 chapters. But that means, so those art prints represent the 4 covers that we were going to use, because I still use part of those covers as the chapter dividers, but you don't get to see the full wraparound of it. So I want people to see the fantastic art that my penciler did. So, the art prints are one option. The stretch goal that we unlocked is for a gorgeous bookmark that everyone gets. And the artwork on that is not just art pulled from the book. That is original art drawn just for that bookmark.
Excellent.
I had, the penciler and all this do. There's a couple other things you can get. There's a mini poster, which is as an add-on, which is the main graphic novel cover with, it's just a virgin cover with no logos and nothing on it. I think it's like a 17 by 20 or 22 inch poster, because it's just an amazing, gorgeous cover. By the way, penciled by a guy named Chuck Wojciechowicz that used to draw Justice League back in the 90s.
Okay.
I've known him for a long time through Comic-Con in San Diego, and I reached out to him to do the cover, and he was kind enough to pencil that, which was a blast for me to ink. I had a great time doing that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's a number of different things that people can get.
That's fantastic. And we're almost to another stretch goal. So everybody go a soft cover. Let's hit the next stretch goal to get a little bit of an extra stuff. And if you're not in the Sacramento area and you know some retailers, because I'm sure Tim has already hit all of the retailers up here, let them know that there is a retailer tier. So they can get multiple copies of the book for their shop. So yeah, there's no reason not to support this. I actually got a chance to read the book. Tim put it in my hands immediately, and it was very well done. The pacing was good. The characters were well defined. Your artist is beautiful.
Yeah, and if I could talk a little bit about the people I worked with, because
please.
I am so grateful that I found the people that I did to work with. My original thought with the book was, like a lot of creators, is I want to do it all myself. I've been an artist, and I was, I had a story I wanted to tell, so I'm going to write it, I'm going to draw it. It's going to be all me, and I'm going to be Frank Miller. And then I drew the first couple pages, and I realized two things. One, I'm not fast enough, and two, I wasn't good enough. And I had to be honest with myself. I could have been all ego, and I'm going to do it myself no matter what, but it still wouldn't have been done if I was doing it all myself, and it wouldn't look nearly as good. So I went out looking around to try to find somebody, and I ran across, through the wonders of the internet, an artist in Italy, and her name is Alessandra Imperio, and I will be forever grateful that our paths crossed, because when I saw her samples, she had a great dynamic page layout skill. She was great at showing action and fluid motion with bodies and things. And I knew that with the story I was telling, those were all things that were important to do. And so when she agreed to do the book, I was very grateful. As I said, I stayed on as inker, and because I wanted to keep my foot in the art side of things, because that's my background. But she was phenomenal to work with, and other people have asked me, well, how specific were you with your script, and did you tell her exactly what to draw? And I really didn't, because I knew from her samples what she could do, and why in the world would I put guardrails on her, and restrict what she was doing when I could see what she could, what skills she had. So I did kind of a hybrid Marvel method, where I would, take a paragraph or two to describe what's happening on the page, and I would include all the dialogue, so she knew what, body language and facial expressions needed to be. And then I just let her go, and she would do thumbnails for the pages, and I would give feedback, like, okay, this moment has to pop a little bit more, so maybe make that panel a little bit bigger or something like that. But 90% of the time, what she came up with was better than what I had in my head. And I said, yeah, absolutely, just do that. So I am extremely grateful. And then I found a colorist, gentleman named Michael Woods in Texas. If it wasn't for the internet and Dropbox, I never would have been able to make this book. Oh, yeah. But he did fantastic stuff, and I want to give Michael credit, because there are a couple, I don't want to spoil anything in the books, but there's a couple moments in the book that the emotional impact was modified and amplified by his color suggestions. He said, I'd like to do this here or this here, and it was a great idea, and it works really well in the book. So I can easily say that without the two of them, this book wouldn't exist, and it wouldn't be as good as it is.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that you found such a good team, and hopefully, moving forward, you'll be able to retain some of them. Now, speaking of moving forward, since we already know that this book is coming out, do you have any plans after this with the Republic?
I absolutely do. My goal is hopefully this Kickstarter will do well enough that after the expense of the fees and printing and shipping and all those things, that what's left can kind of be seed money for a sequel, because I've been working on an outline for a sequel that I am very excited about. And since apparently I'm a glutton for punishment, it's shaping up to be even bigger than the first book.
Excellent.
But I would love to tell more of this story, because the world building is the most fun part of it that I have. And one thing that we didn't touch on is that the whole reason that I chose a post-apocalyptic genre is that I've always been a fan, going back to when I was a teenager and even younger in the early 80s, when I saw Road Warrior with Mel Gibson, and my first role-playing game experience was with not with D&D like a lot of people. It was a game called Gamma World that TSR also put out. And those two things hit me about the same time. I realized this is really cool, even to the point that years ago I co-hosted a podcast that talked all about post-apocalyptic movies, TV shows, and we did over 100 episodes analyzing and breaking down the genre. And I realized that there was just the thing that fascinated me about it is exploring the human condition when civilization has been taken away from people. How do people react when they don't have the internet, they don't have electricity, they don't have a supermarket down the street with endless supplies of food? How do people react to that? And I think it's fascinating to explore that. And within that genre, there's an infinite different directions that creators can go. And that's kind of why I wanted to do that. And now that I've built that world, there's more there that I want to explore.
Okay. Now, what's the name of the podcast? Because I assume they're still out there.
Actually, it went offline like 6-7 years ago, in the hosting. I didn't have control of the hosting, so it's actually not still up there. It was called Post Apocalypse, but as far as I know, it's not available to be streamed anymore.
Okay, fair enough. All right, everybody. Well, and I apologize. My dogs think we're going for a walk. So Dylan's been following Jen around and now really caught on. Go and support this. Go check it out. You've got 9 days left. There is no reason we can't bring this thing to another tier. Get yourself a copy. As I said, I've already read it. I like it. And it's going to be a recommendation in the shop as well. But get your copy right now. Get yourself a hardcover. Get yourself a soft cover, pick one up for a friend, hold on to it till the holidays to give it to someone. There's no reason not to do this. So Tim, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations again with your success. And I'm looking forward to seeing the end result here in 9 days.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being supportive and letting me bend your ear, coming into the shop, telling you about the progress on the book. And as encouraging as you've been. So yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm glad I had a chance to hang out with you and talk about it.
Thank you, sir. And I'll just say too, on the other side of that, you actually were a big motivator in a lot of the stuff I've been doing lately, because talking to you and seeing it come to fruition the way it has, that's what got me in many ways to go be like, well, why aren't I printing Trixie right now? Why aren't I, printing this? So thank you as well, because it's been extremely motivating.
Well, good. I didn't know that, and I feel flattered. I'm grateful that it had that effect.
Yes, and hopefully we can spread the love to everybody else. So thank you again, and thank you all for watching. Go support the Kickstarter, and if you have any questions about it, just hit me up in the shop. I'll tell you all about it. Have a great one, guys, and you, sir, have a good weekend.
You too.